Hello, Ms Mazur's class. Today we're going to continue on with Christmas in Camelot. Annie's braids floated in the wind. The red cloak billowed behind them. Jack was amazed at how easy it was to ride on the stag's back. He felt calm and safe as the stag sped like a white comet through the wintry countryside. The stag ran past flocks of sheep and herds of goats, asleep in the meadow. He ran past thatched huts and quiet stables. The stag ran on and on through the starry night. Jack saw a cloud-covered mountain range in the distance. When they came close to the mountains, Jack was sure the stag would stop. But he galloped on, not even breaking his stride as he started up a rocky slope. The stag finally came to a halt on the ledge of a steep cliff. In a windy swirl of fog and cloud, he knelt to the ground, and Jack and Annie slid off his back. The stag stood up. He stared down at them with his glowing amber eyes. "Thank you," said Annie. "Do you have to leave now?" The stag lowered his head and raised it again. He blew out a frosty puff of air, then leapt away, vanishing into the mist. "Bye," Annie said wistfully. She stared into the mist for a moment and then turned to Jack. "What do we do now?" "I don't know," said Jack. "Let's read the 3 rhymes again." He reached under the red cloak and pulled off his pack. He took out his notebook and started to read the first rhyme. "Beyond the iron gate." "Jack," interrupted Annie, "look!" Jack looked up. The wind had blown away some of the fog. Beyond the cliff rose another mountain. A huge gate was built into its side. A pale light shone between the gate's thick iron bars. 2 knights in gold armor stood guard under flaming torches. "Oh, man," whispered Jack. "That's it, the iron gate," Annie said. "If we pass through that great gate, we'll be in the other world." Chapter 7, A Good Trick. As the wind blew away more fog, Jack and Annie saw a bridge. It was made of thick wooden planks held together with iron bands. It stretched all the way from the edge of the cliff where they were standing to the iron gate. "Come on, let's go," said Annie. "Wait," said Jack. "What about the guards?" The 2 guards in gold armor stood perfectly still. Their huge spears gleamed in the torchlight. "I don't know," said Annie. "Read the second rhyme." Jack looked at his notebook and read aloud. 4 gifts you will need, 1 from me, then a cup, a compass, and finally a key. "The first gift is the Christmas knight's cloak," said Annie. "Yeah, I guess it's supposed to help us somehow," said Jack. He unbuttoned the cloak from around his neck. Then he held it out to get a good look at it. "Maybe it can make us invisible," Annie said. "That's nuts," said Jack. "Seriously," she said. "Cloaks sometimes do that in stories." Here is the picture of the bridge. "Wait, it didn't make me invisible, did it?" said Jack. "Maybe you're wearing it wrong," said Annie. "Give it to me." "Oh, brother," said Jack, but he handed the cloak to Annie. It flipped in the wind as she pulled it around her shoulders. "Can you see me?" she said. "Yes, Annie," Jack said, rolling his eyes. "I can see you." Jack looked past the gate. Even if we get past the guards, what then, he wondered. The other world swallowed up Camelot's best knights. King Arthur said it was filled with magic and monsters. "Jack, look at me now." Jack turned to Annie. She wasn't there. "Where are you?" he said, staring at the darkness. "Cool, it works." "Where are you?" Jack said again, turning around. "Here." Jack felt a hand touch his face. Ah! He jumped back. It's me. I'm invisible. I pulled the hood over my head. That's the trick. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. Oh man, he whispered. Watch, I'm going to take the hood off. In a flash, Annie was back. It felt creepy to be invisible, she said. Jack was speechless. The magic only happens when you wear the hood, Annie says. Good trick, huh? Oh yeah, said Jack. He shook his head. This is just too weird. Don't worry about it being weird. It's a great way to get past the guards, said Annie. Plus, it's a way to hide in the other world. We don't know what we'll find there, right? Yeah, right, said Jack. Okay. Good, said Annie. Now, stand behind me and don't move. Jack put away his notebook. Annie threw the velvet cloak over his shoulders and the backpack. Great, it's big enough for both of us, she said. She carefully arranged the folds around them. Then she pulled the huge hood over both their heads. Jack looked down. He couldn't see his body at all. Felt like he couldn't breathe. In a panic, he threw off the hood. I hate that, he said. I told you it was creepy, said Annie. But if we don't wear it, we won't get past the guards. Yeah, I know. And we won't have protection in the other world, said Jack. He took a deep breath. Okay, let's do it. Annie pulled the hood up again. I'll hold on to the hood so it won't blow off. You just think about getting across that bridge, nothing else. But I can't see my feet, said Jack. You don't need your feet to walk, said Annie. Come on, do it for Morgan. Excuse me. Right, said Jack. He and Annie stepped onto the bridge. Whatever you do, don't look down, said Annie. As they started over the bridge, the wind whistled around them. Jack couldn't help it. He looked down. Not only was his body missing, but the fog beneath the bridge was moving in a wild, spinning swirl. Jack felt dizzy and faint. He stopped. Keep going, whispered Annie. Jack took a deep breath, looked straight ahead. Then he started walking again. He went slowly, step by step, towards the pale light beyond the bars of the gate. In the flickering torchlight, the guards looked like giants. As Jack and Annie slipped invisibly by them, Jack held his breath. How will we open the gate, he wondered. Whoosh, said Annie loudly. Jack's heart stopped. Had Annie lost her mind? What are you doing? He whispered. I'm the wind, Annie whispered back. Whoosh! Annie gave the gate a shove. It swung open as if pushed by the wind. Jack looked back and saw that the guards had turned in their direction. Quick, whispered Annie. She and Jack moved silently through the gateway. Whoosh, said Annie. She pushed the gate back. It shut with a clang. Through the bars, Jack saw the guards face the bridge again. Good work, he said to Annie. Thanks. Jack and Annie then turned away from the gate. Oh, whispered Annie. The other world, whispered Jack. Chapter 8. The Other World. The other world was completely different from the dark, cold world Jack and Annie had just left behind them. They were standing at the edge of a pale green meadow. The meadow was bathed in warm, rosy sunlight. 3 horses, one black, one brown, one gray, were grazing nearby. On a hillside beyond the meadow, red and purple flowers sparkled like bright buttons. It's so nice here, said Annie. Yeah, said Jack. Maybe we won't need this this anymore. He pulled the hood of the cloak off their heads. He was relieved to see Annie's face, and to see himself. "What was the first rhyme again?" asked Annie. He took out the notebook. He found the first rhyme and read aloud. "Beyond the iron gate, the keepers of the cauldron await." He looked round warily. "I wonder where the keepers of the cauldron are," he said. "What do you mean?" "We just snuck by them, remember? Whoosh!" "I don't know," said Jack. "The rhyme says beyond the iron gate. Those guards were standing in front of the gate. They weren't beyond it." "Shh," said Annie. "Listen." From over the hill came the faint sounds of sweet, joyful music. "Maybe the keepers of the cauldron are playing the music," said Annie. "Maybe," said Jack. He listened for a while and smiled. The music made him feel light and happy. "Let's go meet the keepers," said Annie. "Not so fast," said Jack. "Shouldn't we be invisible again, just in case?" "I guess so," said Annie, sighing. Jack pulled the hood of the cloak over their heads. Together they started walking invisibly across the soft meadow. They passed the 3 horses and climbed the flower-covered hill. At the top, they looked down. "Oh, man," said Jack. The hill sloped gently into a misty green glade. In the middle of the glade, a hand of musicians played flutes and pipes, drums and violins. Around the band, hundreds of dancers danced in a huge circle. "The keepers of the cauldron," said Annie. The dancers and the musicians were smiling and laughing. They wore blue coats and green coats, white gowns and yellow gowns. They wore sparkling red slippers and hats with colored feathers. The dancers looked like people, except they all had glittering gold skin and wings that shimmered in the mist like spun silver. "They're beautiful," said Annie. "Yeah, they are," said Jack. "I don't think we need to be invisible with them," said Annie. "I think you're right," said Jack. Annie and Jack threw off the red cloak. They left it in the dewy grass and ran down the hill to the winged dancers. The dancers paid no attention. They just kept going, around and around. "I feel like dancing with them," said Annie. "Me too," said Jack. It was strange. He was usually shy about dancing, but he wanted to join this dance more than anything. Jack pulled off his backpack. As he set it down, he saw 3 swords lying in the grass. But he didn't stop to wonder about them. The music was calling. The winged dancers broke their circles and welcomed Jack and Annie into their dance. Annie held Jack's right hand as he grasped the slender golden hand of the dancer to his left. The dancer smiled down at him. Like the others, she was as tall as a grown-up, but she didn't have any lines or wrinkles on her face. All the dancers looked very young, yet they seemed ancient at the same time. As Jack danced around in the circle, his heart leapt, his spirit soared, his glasses fell off, but he didn't care. He kept dancing. As he danced, everything in his mind became a blur. He forgot about Morgan and Camelot. He forgot about the quest for the water of memory and imagination. He forgot all his fears and worries. "Jack, look!" Annie cried. He looked at her. "Hi," he shouted, laughing. "No, don't look at me. Look over there. Look across the circle." "I can't see," he said. 3 knights. Annie shouted. 3 knights dancing. "Great," shouted Jack. "No, Jack. They look awful. They look so sick," she said. She pulled away from the circle and tumbled back into the grass. "Jack," she called, "stop dancing." But Jack didn't want to stop. He wanted to dance to the wild music forever, forever and ever and ever. Chapter 9. The Lost Knights. Annie chased Jack around the circle. "Stop, Jack," she cried. "Stop." She grabbed his shirts and tried to pull him out of the dance. "Let go, Annie," he said. "Leave me alone." But Annie wouldn't let go. Finally, she pulled so hard that Jack broke hands with the dancers and tumbled backward onto the grass. The winged dancers didn't seem to notice. They closed their circle and kept going around and around. "What did you do that for?" Jack said, sitting up. "I was having fun." "Look at the knights," Annie said. "See them?" Jack still didn't see them. The world was spinning before his eyes. He ached to get back to the dance. "Here, I found your glasses," said Annie. "Put 'em on." Jack put on his glasses. He peered at the circle of dancers, caught sight of armor glinting in the sunlight. He saw 3 knights dancing in a row. 2 of them looked very young. The third looked much older. As they came closer, Jack saw their faces. All of the joy of the music drained out of him. The knights looked tired and sick. Their hair and beards were long and scraggly. Their faces were bony and pale. Their eyes stared wildly, and their lips were frozen in ghostly smiles. "What's wrong with them?" asked Jack. "They can't stop dancing," said Annie. "They're dancing themselves to death." "They must be the lost knights from Camelot," said Jack. "We have to save them." "Yeah," said Jack. He tried to clear his mind and think. "What about this? We get back in the dance, and we take places between the dancers and the knights. Yes, then we can pull the knights out of the circle. Wait, what if I can't stop dancing again?" "Just don't let yourself get caught by the music. You have to think about something else. Think about why we're here. Think about Morgan." "Okay," said Jack. "I'll try." Jack and Annie crouched in the grass. They watched and waited as the knights danced closer and closer and closer. "Now!" shouted Annie. Jack and Annie rushed forward. They broke into the circle on either side of the knights. As Jack started dancing, his feet seemed to fly to the beat of the drums. He felt a great wave of joy. His worries left him. "Now, Jack," Annie said, "pull away." But Jack didn't want to pull away. The music ran in his ears. Nothing mattered except the dancing. "Jack, pull away now," Annie shouted. Jack shook his head, trying to shake off Annie's voice. "Morgan, Morgan," yelled Annie. The word Morgan made Jack stumble a bit in the dance. "Morgan, Morgan," she shouted. Jack stumbled again. Then he used all his might to stop himself from dancing. He let go of the hand of the dancer on his right and threw himself out of the dance, pulling the knight on his left with him. Annie and the other 2 knights tumbled back with them into the grass. Just as before, the dancers didn't seem to notice. They closed their circle and kept going, round and round in their joyous, timeless dance. Chapter 10. The Knight's Gifts. The 3 knights lay in the grass, fighting for breath. "The dance. We must stop. Stop dancing," gasped the older knight. "You have stopped dancing. We pulled you away," said Annie. The knights looked up at her and Jack. He had a rough, craggy face. Who are you?" he asked in a hoarse voice. "Friends," said Annie. She spoke loudly to be heard over the music. "We've come from King Arthur's castle. We're on a quest to get the water of memory and imagination, to save Camelot." "Camelot," whispered the knight. "We come from Camelot. I don't recognize you." "We're just visiting," said Annie, "but we know all about you. You're Sir Lancelot, aren't you?" "Yes," breathed the knight. "And Sir Percival and Sir Galahad?" said Jack. "Yes, my son, Galahad," said the knight. "King Arthur thinks that you have been lost forever. The dance, he said, it made us forget. I know. The dancers must be keepers of the cauldron. You can't get past them without getting caught up in their dance. Father, we must find the water. Sir Galahad tried to sit up, but he was too weary. He lay back in the grass. That's okay. We're here now, said Annie. You should rest. Sir Galahad closed his eyes. Yeah, don't worry, said Jack. Annie and I will find the magic water for Camelot. But you are just children, said Sir Percival, the third knight. You must wait for us. There's no time to wait, said Jack. Camelot is dying. We have to hurry. Then you must take this. He reached into the leather pouch that hung around his shoulder. He took out a silver cup. With a trembling hand, the young knight gave the cup to Annie. A cup, she said. Take this too. He pulled a small wooden box from the bag that hung from his belt. He handed it to Jack. Jack opened the lid. In the middle of the box was a pointer with markings all around it. A compass, said Jack. And this, said Sir Lancelot. He took a silk cord from around his neck. A glass key hung from the cord. A key, whispered Annie. Lancelot handed the key to Annie. She and Jack looked at it closely. Then Annie hung it around her neck. When she turned back, all the knights were fast asleep. Sweet dreams, Annie said gently. You need a long nap. Jack and Annie stood up. I think we have all our gifts now, Jack said, but I'd better make sure. He hurried to get his backpack. It was lying in the grass near the knights' swords. He pulled out his notebook and read the second rhyme. 4 gifts you will need, the first from me, then a compass, a cup, and finally a key. Great, said Annie. We've got the cloak from the Christmas night, and the other 3 gifts from them. This quest is really easy. Jack shook his head. It's not over yet, he said. We still have to find the cauldron with the water of memory and imagination. We'll find it, said Annie. Read the third rhyme. Jack looked in his notebook and read the third rhyme. If you survive to complete your quest, the secret door lies to the west. No problem, said Annie. We survived the guards and the dance. Now the compass can show us how to go west. The key will unlock the secret door. We'll fill the cup with water from the cauldron. See, it's easy. Jack still felt worried. A little too easy, he thought. What are we waiting for, said Annie. Let's go. Jack looked down at the compass. Okay, he said. The pointer is pointing north, so west must be that way. He pointed left, towards a thicket of bushes and small trees. Great, said Annie. Here, carry the cup in your pack. Jack put his notebook and the silver cup into his pack. Then he and Annie started into the thicket. They ducked under the branches and pushed past bushes. Thorns scraped their hands. Twigs snapped against their faces. Jack kept checking the compass. Could they really be searching in the right place, he wondered? What kind of door would you find in a tangled thicket? Listen, said Annie. It's so quiet now. The thicket had grown eerily silent. No birds called from the bushes. No music could be heard in the distance. Jack checked the compass once more. It says we're still going west. I just hope this thing works. It works, said Annie softly. Look. She was holding back a leafy branch. She pointed to a rocky hillside beyond the thicket. Halfway up the hillside was a ledge. Between 2 giant boulders on the ledge was a shining glass door. We'll continue this one tomorrow.